Well, did you know there was a time when a truck did not need giant screens, drive modes, a luxury badge to win America over? Well, we're going to find out here in the video. I've got a real good one here for you today. So, the 1995 Ford F 150 and why America loved it. If you like truck related content, hit the subscribe button because I do upload content every day. So, all right, let's get into the video here. It was just needed to start every morning. There was a time when a truck did not need giant screens, drive modes, or a luxury badge. You could haul what you asked it to do, tow what you needed, and survived years of hard work. And that is exactly why people loved the 1995 Ford F 150. This truck landed in the middle of the old school era, the OBS era is what I always tell people, the old body style. To truck fans today, and for a lot of people, this was the perfect balance of toughness, simplicity, and everyday usability. It looked right, sounded right, and most importantly, I tell people, it felt like a real truck. But back then, the F-150 was available in multiple configurations, from a basic work truck to nicer XLT, the Eddie Bauer models with the regular cab and the super cab layouts, short and long wheelbases, rear wheel drive and four wheel drive, of course, and an engine choices that ranged from a durable inline six to the V8 options. So in this video, we're going to look at why America loved the 1995 Ford F-150, what made it special, and the full specs that made it such a big deal back in the day. So first, let me tell you this. The 1995 F-150 was loved because it felt honest. It was not trying to be a luxury SUV, pretending to be a truck. It was a truck. That design was clean and square, but still more aerodynamic than the older, boxier Fords. The ninth generation F-Series had arrived with a softer front end and an updated styling compared with the previous generation, but it still kept the unmistakable work truck presence. Second, it offered real choice for its buyers. You could buy a stripped down truck for job site duty, or you could move into a more comfortable trim with nicer materials and features. But by 1985, the lineup included the Special. It also had the XL, the XLT, and the nicer and newer Eddie Bauer trim for the F1 models. While the high performance SVT Lightning was also part of this generation through the 1995 model year. Third, it was practical. Ford offered multiple wheelbases and body styles, but could get, a regular cab with either a short bed or a long bed, or a super cab if you needed more room. Common F-150, common F-150 wheelbases included 116-inch to 133-inch. Also, they had 138-inch and 155 inches, depending on cab and bed setup, of course. And finally, people loved it because it was dependable and familiar. The 4.9-liter inline six had a reputation for being one of those engines that just kept going. And the 5-liter and the 5.8 V8s gave buyers more power, and the truck itself was simple enough that owners actually understood how it worked. Now, the exterior and the design. The 1995 F-150 had the classic OBS look that enthusiasts still love today. You had the straight body lines, the simple grille, the rectangular headlights, and proportions that looked tough without being overdone. It was wide for its time, though, with reference specs listing about 79 inches in overall width, and it had the length range of 197 inches for a shorter regular cab truck, up to 235 inches for the long wheelbase super cab. Not everyone buying the F-150 was a contractor or farmer. Some buyers wanted the style, of course, and Ford responded with trims like the XLT and the Eddie Bauer, giving the truck more visual appeal and comfort without losing its roots. Engines. It had the, like I say, this truck had the 4.9 liter inline six, rated at around 150 horsepower and 260 foot-pound of torque. It had a 5-liter V8, rated of around 205 horsepower and 275 foot-pounds of torque. It had a manual transmission, of course, and some sources noting 195 horsepower for automatic equipped versions. The 5.8-liter V8, it had 210 horsepower and 325 foot-pound of torque. And if you were talking about the 1995 SPT Lightning, that was a different animal altogether. This truck used a hotter 5.8-liter V8 at 240 horsepower and 340 foot-pounds of torque. Most F-150s came with a 5-speed manual with fit truck most nonsense personality perfectly. Automatic options were also available, including Ford's electronic controlled overdrive automatics. The towing and payload capacity, depending on the configuration, reference sources that I found online had a maximum towing capacity of around 7,500 to 7,600 pounds, which was pretty good back in the day. The ride chassis was everyday feel. One underrated reason people loved the 1995 F-150 is that it still felt mechanical in the best ways. The truck used Ford's traditional body-on-frame construction, and the 4x4 models this generation continued to use Ford's twin traction beam. No, it was not, plush by modern standards, is what I tell people, but it was comfortable enough, durable enough, and direct enough that drivers felt connected to the road, of course. The interior features inside the 1995 F-150 was simple, but it could be better equipped than people remember. Now, it was still very much an analog cabin, had buttons, knobs, gauges, a bench seat in many ways, and a layout that made sense immediately. No learning curve, no giant menus, just get in and drive. That's what I like about this truck. Fuel economy, it averaged of around 13 to 16 miles per gallon combined with the 4.9 liter two-wheel drive. It was gaining around 14 city, 18 highway, again, about 16 miles per gallon combined. Now, this is still why it still matters today. The 1995 Ford F-150 matters because it represents the end of an era. It became overloaded with luxury and electronics. It gave buyers real choice. It had proven engines. It had classic styling. And it delivered the kind of durability that built Ford trucks' reputation in the first place. There is a reason why OBS Ford trucks still have such a loyal following. They remind people of a time when trucks felt simpler, tougher, and more personal. And the 1995 F-150 sits right in the sweet spot. Not too old, not too modern, just right. That's what I think. So yes, America loved the 1995 Ford F-150 because it was dependable, capable, good-looking, and built for the real life. And I actually have a neighbor that has one of these. It still makes me jealous when I drive by. It could be a work truck. It could be a family truck. It could be a weekend tow rig. And for many people, it was all three. The 1995 Ford F-150, it was quite the truck. Came in a regular cab, super cab, two-wheel, four-wheel. And the trims, again, like I say, it was the Special, the XL, the XLT, the Eddie Bauer, plus the SPT. Now, the transmission was a 5-speed manual with the available automatic. And the towing, again, was 7,500 to 76 pounds, which was great. The payload was roughly between 1,690 pounds to about 2,000 pounds for some of the F-150 setups. Now, to me, it had simple design, durable engine choices, real towing ability, multiple body styles, and a clean old school truck feel that still appeals to enthusiasts right to this day. Well, hope you've enjoyed the video. Hit the like, the subscribe, the share, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.